Welcome back everyone to the two-headed wolf gaming channel last Epoch and our Primalist, which we are going to turn into a Beastmaster. I decided to start this episode at level 14, almost level 15, before we pick a mastery, just because there are so many skills that we see for the very first time, being the first time we're trying out this class, that I feel it's a bit important to just to show off a bit more, right? I've unlocked here Tempest Strike, which is a very interesting melee attack, which I might want to play with either tomorrow or the day after that. Tempest Strike, a melee combo attack that cycles through a cold strike, a physical strike, and a lightning strike that trigger elemental tempest. Spells of the same damage type if its strikes hit at least one enemy. So it's going from cold to physical to lightning, which I find very interesting as a concept, and how would we be able to scale it up. Cold Strike trigger Frigid Tempest, which is cold projectiles that pierce through enemies. Physical Strikes trigger a Wind Tempest, which is a small twister that lasts a short duration, dealing physical damage over time. Lightning Strike triggers a Thunder Tempest, which is an expanding storm of lightning bolts. Either way, sounds really good. It has a 16 mana cost, which is very expensive for early on. That's 3 attacks pretty much with the mana that we have available. Almost for 4. I guess you could trigger a 4th one because we can go into negative mana. But either way, this sounds really awesome to play with, and I'm gonna try it out. Not today, but one of the following days. Then Maelstrom surrounds you with freezing Maelstrom that deals cold damage over time to nearby enemies. A really nice shield to try. Upheaval sunders the ground in a line in front of you, dealing damage to enemies along the path. Has 135 added damage effectiveness. These really made me think of Path of Exile, because we have Sundering Strike, and usually what you do Fury Leap, right? Something like this, and then it has a modifier which turns your attack into something like this. I'm thinking about Path of Exile a lot with this, because it is a type of early level up skills that I've done with the Marauder. But either way, it's pretty cool overall. I'm not gonna try these skills out. What I'm mostly interested in and what I want to show off is of course minions. So we're gonna go into that. Let's go into passives first of all and spend the 10 points that I have available over here. So what am I going to do now? I maximize the minion health. If I go here in survival or towards survival of the pack, it would increase our melee damage. It would give us a bit of melee damage leached as health. And the same will do for minions, 5% extra damage for minions and some minion health leech. And I think it's important to at least invest 1 point in here, because I want to get here to the melee damage. There's increased minion spell damage, and I don't think I really want that. We're not going to go with it much. That's what I'm thinking for right now. Let's get a bit more minion damage here and extra healing received when using a potion. Then we're gonna go with this leech, because I think it's very important. And this also unlocked 2 abilities. All this investment. Warcry, unleash a mighty roar that knocks back enemies and stuns them for 1.5 seconds. Could be very good. Rares and bosses are stunned for half as long. And then we have Summon Storm Crows. Summon Storm Crows up to your companion limit. The Storm Crows cast spell from a distance. When its health drops to 0 is down, then you can revive it, okay? Well, so these are spellcaster, thus makes this a bit more effective or efficient or useful. Let's see, Ancient Call. Plus 10 health, increase companion health by 10%, companion revival speed increased by 5%, that is good. You deal increased physical, cold, and lightning damage. These bonuses are doubled while you have an active minion. Okay, that's interesting as well. So it gives you a reason why you'd want to use that melee attack with the combined elements. Interesting. Hunter's Emanation, the healing from Hunter's Restoration also applies to your minions, and when you trigger Hunter's Restoration, your minions gain damage for 3 seconds, and that's 11% more damage. Okay, health restored 8. Okay, I guess it could work, right? There is the healing from Hunter's Restoration also applies to your minions, so every 3 seconds, we are going to heal our minions, and they will get 11% more damage. I believe I like that idea. Let's do it. I think we're gonna go a lot with melee minions rather than anything else. So I'm not gonna try to invest too much in spell damage. We shall see whether we find some range minion or some type of minions that scale up on something else rather than spells. And let's see, we need to replace some of these. I think that I would remove at the moment the totems. Even though we can upgrade them and do a whole lot of things, I believe I would prefer to have these sort of minions instead. And we'll go with wolves first because we know what we want to pick. Let's see, Snarl. When you kill an enemy one of your wolves has a chance to howl. This does not expand Howl's mana cost and on cooldown. Howl also grants more melee damage and increased melee attack speed to all affected allies. Not a huge amount, we could get 10% more damage and 10% more melee attack speed. And that is already full enough. I don't know if I want all of these. Increase stun chance and give wolves a bit of cold damage. Wouldn't scale up too greatly. Maybe stun immunity for wolves is better. Yeah, let's go in this direction. Let's get a bit attack speed and movement speed. And then we're gonna get stun immunity as soon as we have enough points here. Yeah, I like that idea a bit more. Over here on Stormcrows. Shock chance, increasing the chance to stun enemies. Okay, lightning resistance. Some damage and increased critical strike chance. That's nice. We could also go with cast speed and movement speed, so definitely not something that I want to keep for long. Armor shred would be great for our crows. Freeze rate, teleport with crowstorm, chain lightning, that's interesting. What else do we have here? Limited to one crow, but they get 30% more damage, health damage, and size. Is it turning into sort of a falcon that we have with the falconer class? Storm crows can heal you, a bit more intelligence. Okay, well, I am thinking that probably the first thing that I want to do will be to shred some armor. So let's go in this direction. I've got some cast speed, some movement speed. Let's replace the totems here. We're gonna replace them with crows. Actually, Atira's Blessing is one of those things which I haven't really used, so I can throw in totems. Okay, we have a maximum of 2 companions, and apparently that's either 2 wolves or it's a wolf and a crow. And I'm gonna show you here something which you might have missed. On this side, you are heading towards the right. This is where your quests take you, the main quest and the secondary ones that you pick from these council chambers. However, if you go to the upper district here to the left, you can get yourself another secondary quest which provides you with a passive skill point. So try not to miss it. As it will be very important to gather out of this. I think this is one of those situations where I'm not sure I really enjoy it. Or early on, I mean, maybe it's something about the mastery of the game that it should be in the game, right? If you are playing for long, if you are one of those people which likes to explore, then it rewards exploration, and thus you are receiving those extra passive skill points whenever you are playing the game, right, for long, or you learn something from someone else. There is a plus side because it tells you here how many idle slots you can have and how many you have gathered. The same goes for passive skill points. Yeah, I can afford to sit still and let my minions do the job, yeah, pretty much. But it is a bit weird because I feel like when you're going, especially because you're going back and forth through time and you cannot fully explore everything, until you've gone through the entire campaign. It does feel a bit weird because you don't know exactly where you might have missed a quest. And the other big thing is, once you fully explore, once you go through the entire campaign, then I am guessing there will be multiple areas. Like if you look, for example, let me clear this area and I'll try to show it off. When you're going through time, right, you have multiple areas where you can appear. So you can be in area over here as well. Like there are multiple cities, multiple maps and things. And I think it might be a bit difficult to figure out where you have missed and a bit annoying, to be honest. Making you or forcing you to return and figure out what or where have you missed the quest. I don't know if that is necessarily something which you would like, because once you go through the entire campaign, I don't know if you fully remember everywhere you went and where you didn't. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as I am saying it right now, but this is my early impression after being through the early game so many times. With the first characters, I've definitely missed this skill point here. It was during a farming session that I actually decided, hey, let's see what's to the left, and actually discovered that, hey, there's a quest here, and you can miss a passive skill point. There you go. A bit of experience, a bit of cash, and a passive skill point. We can spend it. I'm looking forward to getting the mastery, because having only 2 minions is not... It's fun. I thought that I could have multiples, but it doesn't seem like that is the case. We can have them up to a limit of 2. Now let's see, what is this? Crow Storm? Your crows call down a massive lightning strike on the targeted area after a brief delay, hitting all enemies in the area. Deal 50% more damage per contributing crow. Lightning spell area. Okay. So if we were to play a sort of a spellcaster, if we were to invest a lot of damage into spells, then we might be able to do something with this. Summon 2 crows, have 100% extra damage rather than having the wolves. Sort of have the crows be sort of like a supportive class. I guess instead of going melee, you could go with ranged attackers, right? Or with spellcasters who are casting spells as well, and then you have your crows do the same thing, and it adds up. Okay. What do I want to do going forward? A bit more damage, either that, or I could get more health, and let's do this. The health and the revival there. We've unlocked 2 more skills. Elder Branch, you and your totems deal additional spell damage. This bonus is tripled while using an axe. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's forcing you to use a weapon. Spell damage, totem spell damage, okay. But do you want an axe while you get increased spell damage? I guess you could. It's not really a mage, right? They're trying to do something unique. While on low health, you take less damage and deal more damage, 35% more. Not something that I want now. Serpent Strike, this one is with a poison, a melee attack that has 140% poison chance. That's great. Poison inflicted by Serpent Strike lasts 40% longer. That's also cool, but you have to use a spear. I like the fact that they're forcing you into certain gameplay. I'm not gonna spend any more points here. We're waiting to unlock our class, and then we are going to be investing a bit more. But you know what? I will put a cut in here. I will put a cut in here, and we will return a bit later on. Actually, no, let's fight this boss and see how it works. Then I'll put a cut and return whenever we're picking our mastery, because there is a bit more to see over there. I thought it would be a lot cooler to get the crows. I thought that we would be able to summon 2 wolves and have at least 1 crow until I specialized in it, and then maybe have a multiplier on that. But no, our maximum is 2 companions. We're getting the beans from the gloves, which is a side effect. It's not really something which is added up to minions, which I'm happy for. As you can see, we're doing a lot of damage. We're doing pretty good for now. And let's see how quickly we can defeat this guy. A really annoying attacker. I don't like this one at all. Just because of the range where it can do damage. I mean, even sitting here on the edge of fire, you are still taking fire. You are still in its area of effect. And I don't know. There are parts of this which I don't really enjoy. I feel like it needs to be slightly more fixed, the visuals of it and things. But there we have it. So quickly dispatch that enemy, and I will see you when we're picking our next mastery.
Grace be with you.
Time to pick our mastery, and let's see what we will gain from it.
Then close your
Beastmaster, you are the master of the wilds and the beasts that dwell within. The heart of the wild beast within you, its fury leading your way. We get +1 to companion summon limit. You and your minions deal 50% increased melee damage. Well, then we definitely don't need to have those crows running with us. We get Summon Raptor. Summons a primal raptor that ferociously attack your enemies. When it's health, yeah, we know about this. We can have 2 at once. Yeah, we've seen it all before. We're gonna try it out. We're definitely going to return to the crows here as a support companion. What I am thinking is maybe in the following days, with one of the class which we will pick, we can go with the crows, because on our passives, we had this one. Tempest Bond, increase physical cold lightning damage and doubles the bonus while we have a minion. So if we're getting double lightning damage, then we can also have the crows support us, and thus doubling it all, and they get the bonus from the damage as well. So overall, I feel like this works well with this skill, and I am thinking that this is something that we want to do, given that this one also we have the Elder Branch here with totem spell and spell damage tripled while using an axe. I guess I could use an axe and get triple spell damage and totem spell damage. Maybe it combines with this one. I don't know. I feel like that is the direction in which I want to go for now, but we shall see. The final skills for the Primalist would be increase totem health. Totems are immune to poison damage. Okay, that's nice. Ancestral Weaponry. Getting increased cold damage with 2-handed mace, increased physical damage with 2-handed axe, and increased lightning damage with a staff. Okay. Well, let's take a look here to the Primalist. Ursine Strength. You have additional strength and take less damage from nearby enemies. 2% per point invested. Feline Bond. Dodge rating increased by 10. Companion dodge rating increased by 10. And increased companion revive range by 10% per point. That could be very useful. And we could get a lot of increased melee damage and increased minion melee damage. You know what? I feel like I'm going to stay around our minions all the time, or a lot of the time. I am a melee fighter, and thus we don't really need a whole lot of revive range. Reducing the damage taken from nearby enemies, that could really be useful in order to build our strength or our defensive capabilities, but going with more damage is also good. I'll probably try to invest a few points there. Let's go and specialize in the Raptor. I want to see him in action. I want to see what it's all about. What does it do once we summon one? Let's see. Let's throw a Raptor here. I guess I could go with War Cry as well, instead of the totem. So we're bringing a raptor. This is the limit that we have right now. I like that the raptor is also wearing a bit of leather armor. That is great. It's a nice detail, I would say. And let's see, what is the ability? Rampage. Sends your raptor into a rampage. Your raptor gains 40% increase attack speed, cast speed, movement speed, damage, and size for 5 seconds. I don't know exactly what size does in this game. Maybe I should look it up. I just want to say that bigger is better, is probably better, but I don't want to assume too much. Let's see. Your Raptor gains increased effect from Rampage, 25% per point. Rampage fears enemies when it's activated. Does it say what fears mean? Fears causes enemy to flee from you and your allies. I'm never sure whether I want fear. When I'm not a ranged attacker, I don't really feel like fear is helping us. Raptor gains additional elemental resistance and have additional dodge chance. Your Raptor automatically reduces the cooldown of your other companions' activatable abilities. This effect has 8 seconds cooldown. Your Raptor gains the ability to screech at enemies, shredding their physical resistance. I do like that a lot. You could also gain a bit of bleeding stacks from the screech. Your Raptor uses Rampage if it encounters rare or boss enemies. Okay, so that's an automatic effect. We could get some melee attack speed. We could gain chances to bleed, slows, extra damage per nearby enemies, and criticals. Damage on kill per stack. Your Raptor gains more damage for 10 seconds when it kills an enemy. Damage while evolved, size while evolved. If your Raptor has 10 kills in this zone, it evolves, gaining 50% more size and damage while you remain in the zone. Haste granted on kill. There's so much that I want to do here. Well, let's get the physical shred. Let's give it a bit of strength here. Then we're gonna go with shred because we're doing a lot of melee damage. I feel like it will work well together. Over on this side, let's invest into even more melee damage and then just we'll see it in action. Then I will be farming a lot more for some experience just to see how it's going to transform once we have a few more levels. And I feel like it's going to be a cakewalk, given the equipment that we're running with right now. It's going to be a quick cakewalk to get a lot of the levels going forward.
There is an old passage to the surface. I will dispel the wound that keeps it safe.
Stay safe.
Greetings. Greetings. Do not dwell
May a
on
terror
regrets.
smile upon you. Farewell.
So let's see how much of a cakewalk this will be. So far, I like the aggressiveness of the Raptor. It's running ahead, it's faster than me, even with the buffs that I have available. Doing a lot of damage. So far, so good. We also have the bees, which protect us.
Die here.
Okay, let's see if we found better idols. We found a lot of idols a little earlier as well, but there was nothing good for the minions, so I didn't really worry too much about it. Poison damage, we're not doing poison damage with minions either. Stun chance, yeah, not a whole lot, nothing too impressive. I guess I'm going with 18% stun chance, going to help us. I love the fact that we don't really have to send minions away. I feel like it's automation where your minions go and attack even these hives is really awesome. I rarely attack those hives. I most of the time just run by them just because they're very tough, very distant. Okay, we're doing good stuns there with the Warcry. We'll probably keep going there. Rampage costs 45 mana. Howl costs 40. So we'll have to wait and make some choices here and there, but overall I think we're doing well. If we can get some armor shred using the raptor, that will be a nice multiplier for our wolves to do melee damage. And that's a nice stun. That's a war cry, really works well. And I'm guessing that we could get, if we specialize in the war cry, we would get a bunch of bonuses. Super nice. We're getting good experience out of this entire area. Not that much. So maybe at the end of the day, it's not even worth clearing out this entire area. Just go for the main monsters rather than sitting still and trying to take care of those summoning nests. Was there a guardian here that I had to fight? I don't remember. Oh no, we're just in the cultist area. How close are we to our next point? Well, very close. Search for other time reef. I think that there's one here that I've missed all this time. I doubt it. I think they showed time rifts on the map. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you find a time rift on the map, consider looking for a way to go through it, as it's most surely a passive skill points. There is one which I have passed by in the desert. I think I have pretty much an idea of how to get through it. It's behind some closed door, and I think you have to do a bit of time traveling in order to get to it. However, I didn't really bother a whole lot to discover it. At least not with these level up characters. Most of the time because I'm very close to going off, or actually showing off the final episode from these early runs, and that's why I didn't bother too much with discovering more about it. Okay, some cool stuff here. Increased movement, some attune. Guess I could throw that in. 50 health gain on potion use, 100% health converted to ward. That doesn't really matter too much. 2 more potion slots. Sure, we'll do this. And let's take a look at this bow. Hell Reach. 17 bow fire damage, 10% increase bow attack speed, and 12% fire penetration. And we're getting 0.1 base attack rate plus 12 bow damage. Okay, it's a level up bow, it's nothing over the top amazing, it doesn't have such a unique effect where I really feel like it matters. We can see that we're taking good enough damage now where we have to start considering some extra defenses. Probably getting that reduced damage from enemies which are nearby might be one of those things we might want to consider. far as resistances go, we're not doing too great on that side either. We have a bit of poison resistance, we have a bit of void resistance. Welcome here. On armor, they are shredding our armor off. Like, look at this. We are now at 16% reduced damage. That's why we're taking this much damage from them. But there's something that is also shredding our armor somewhere in here. There is nothing else to see at the moment. I am just gonna go through multiple levels, farm for a bit more experience, maybe find some lucky gear here and there. Anything that would help us with our minions, although it doesn't seem like there's a lot in this early part of the game that would replace this sort of equipment. And we will return with the next episode after I've gathered about, I don't know, 10, maybe even 15 extra levels. We shall see exactly when I need to return and show up the next levels or the next power level whenever we have something to prove. But that is going to be it for the moment. Hope you have enjoyed the episode so far and this progress, and I will see you in the next one as we're gonna draw some conclusions and talk about the Beastmaster. With that in mind, until next time, have a wonderful day.